Yeah, man. I want to ask a question. It's kind of like an iron sharpens iron question, right? Because I'm really interested in how men deal with stress and things like that. So, like, how do you? Where did I start, by the way? Did I start on this side on the last question?
You start with me. You start with Joe.
So, okay. What I want to ask is, so how do you deal with? How do you balance being strong for others while taking care of yourself?
Ooh, this is a good one because this is what I've been dealing with for the past 4 months. I watched my father work extremely hard his entire life, and when that phone rang, whether it was his Ameritech and his '69 convertible Stingray, or if it was his Singular, when they came out with those with
My
Snake.
dad worked for Ameritech.
No, he didn't work for Ameritech.
Oh.
He had an Ameritech brick cell phone.
Right.
It was Barney purple to match his '69, which was Barney purple, and he used to pull it open. And from a kid, whether he was answering that phone all the way up to his Metro before he died, he always went over and beyond for everyone else. And when he would find himself in those binds, he never could pick up the phone to call any of those people that he was there for years on out. And so I struggle with that in myself now. So I don't know how to handle those stressors. I only know how to be of service because that's what I was taught. So through therapy and through conversations such as these and different things, I'm learning that speaking up. Again, everything's going to probably, for me, roll off of that first initial statement. Speaking up when I'm uncomfortable in a situation or when something isn't quite matching what I assumed and or thought would be the return on my investment. For example, you know, me and you, we like our cars. From day one, you've been always genuine, and as well as you've been genuine toward me. So it's easier for me to go over and beyond because I'm receiving something that I didn't even ask for.
Right.
Whereas Joe before, I would have came out, I would have did this, and this. Hey man, I know this car. No, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. I got you. We go out to dinner. Hey, don't worry about it. I got it. You know. And then I may have left my wallet at home. It's like, hey, could you? And it's like, oh man, So
Been there.
I think learning to allow someone to do for me first, and then go out and do in return, but it's still a challenge for me. So my answer's a bit shaky.
Cool. I mean, and that's fine. That's fine. Again, like this whole thing is we talk amongst each other. We want to try to help, anybody out there. But if we going through stuff, it is what it is. It's honest to be able to say, I'm still figuring that out too. Sure. And again, ain't no harm in that. So how do you deal with balancing, being strong for others while taking care of yourself? Like how do you do that? And if you don't do it, it's fine. Like
No. I think that's actually a really good question, and I think it's actually hitting at a very interesting time in my life actually right now. And not to get personal with everybody, but I did just recently, 4 days ago, I unfortunately lost my uncle. And so, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. But there's been a bit of a trying circumstance. So a few years back, I ended up retiring my parents because they're getting older in age. And so I wanted to keep them a little bit closer with me. So I ended up moving them in with me. And I just remember waking up on Tuesday morning to my mom screaming. And I'm thinking, like, what's going on? Like, well, I don't even know what's happening. So I go downstairs and I'm talking to her and everything's going on. And I realize what the day is. I'm like, oh, my God, it's Tuesday. I've got a meeting coming up in about an hour. I've got to be there for that. It's a pretty vital meeting for my business. And then I'm also supposed to be coaching somebody as well who's supposed to be recently joining the company. So quite a few things going on. I got this going on. And my mom's like freaking out. So there's a lot of different things. And in life, too, over the past, I'd say, year, 2 years, I've had a lot of personal things that have not gone my way, to say. And at the same time, I've noticed that, all the stuff that we do, like you're saying, doing for other people, all the stuff that we do for other people in business, the stuff that you do as a realtor when you're there for your clients, I'm sure you go above and beyond. All these little things that we do for other people, who's going to pour back into that cup? And at the end of the day, whose responsibility is it? And I think, to really go back to it, we honestly came onto this earth by ourselves. Yes, we came here with parents and stuff like this, but at the end of the day, who's responsible for us? In my eyes, no one is responsible for us other than us and then God, obviously, in this sense of things. So what in my system of things that I do is I'll do everything in my power to take care of myself, to make sure that I'm steady, I'm good, I'm healthy, to be able to provide for situations. Because God forbid that I wasn't financially stable and able to take care of my parents, they wouldn't be in the situation they're in right now. God forbid that I didn't have the time to be able to say, hey, I can't make this meeting. Can you fill in for me? You know, these things are very vital, but you have to be able to build up to these things. You have to make sure you're prepared to be faced with these things, because these things are going to come up in life. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all going to be faced with really hard trials, really hard tribulations. So as long as we are able to communicate, like you said, to others when we're in times of need, and we are there for ourselves, then I feel like as men we can provide for other people. It's kind of like the plane analogy, right? Put your mask on first before you put somebody else's on. How do you know you're not going to pass out trying to help somebody else?
It's
right?
hard, man. So what about you, Dylan? How do you take care of yourself, balancing being strong for yourself while helping out?
I would say I'm very much like Joe. I definitely have always done more for others before doing it for myself. And it makes me feel good doing that. Whether it all comes back to the way we were raised, right? So I got very good parents, super lucky that way. And I think the last few years, I used to say, like, I have this funny saying, I'm like, Jay's not my real estate friend, he's my real friend. And then Jay goes and does something where I'm like, that's not what my real friend would do. But I'm putting it on Jay that he's my real friend. He doesn't think he's my real friend. I just think he is because I do all this cool stuff for him. But when I need him, he doesn't reciprocate or can't reciprocate or didn't even know I needed to be reciprocated to. So for me, I started becoming more selfish, and not anyone would know that, but a little bit with my time. You know, Z was talking about coaching people. I've been coaching for 20 years, and it was to the point where, like, I would go and help them before helping myself.
Right.
And, like, maybe that's what I'm here to do. I don't know, because I'm healthy, my kid's healthy, my significant other's healthy, my parents are healthy, knock on wood.
Good.
So is it about money? No. Is it about time? Sure, because I just had this talk with somebody super important to me just yesterday, and I said, so I'm 48. I'm like, you got 5 or 6 or 7 more years till maybe you aren't as healthy as you are today. And it could be tomorrow. So you got to take those years. You got to live them for you. You still got to take care of everybody else, but you still got to live them for you. And whether that's going to the gym, riding in your car, hanging with the fellas, taking that time by yourself to shut everything down, shut your phone off, not edit video for 11 hours, or if that's what you like to do, edit for 22 hours. But you got to do it for yourself. And I think, you know, me being, I'm Gen X. I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I was raised by older baby boomers. So I'm like a baby boomer because I do without asking. So if Joe needed help with the trans, and he asked me, I'm going to take my jacket off and get underneath there and help him just because that's how I am.
That's what needs to be
and I'm
done.
not going to look for anything back.
Yeah.
And then one day, maybe I need something and somebody else is there for me. But definitely there's just a way where you have to figure out these other people don't or can't. It's not even don't. They can't care about you as much as you think that they should just because you're super empathetic and you're more of a giver. You just have to take that as a gift and then just think somehow that comes back to you because there's so many things we take for granted every single day.
I mean, but that's men as well, though. You know, I think it's just coded in our blood that.
Yeah, you're a lion. You got to go hunt.
You got to go hunt. Wake up, and you will deal with the wounds of your battle when you go in your box. You know, that's
And I asked this question because I struggle with this, right? And I wanted to kind of see what.
It's the worst question you sent to me. I was like, I don't want to answer this question because I'm going to look.
This question's loaded. I mean, I could go on for days on this one, honestly. There's a lot of stuff that we could go on. And we need to go on.
For myself, right? I've watched so many men, right? And this is a sad part, right? Include my uncle, right? I've watched so many men, right? They take on the responsibility of taking care of their family or taking care of their mother or whatever it is, right? It seems like even there's the transition that happens as a boy, right? And then you come into a man and you have some sense of responsibility. Even when you're some kids are young, we all get to this stage where we have a sense of responsibility. And it seems like it doesn't stop for a man. It's constant, right? And I've watched certain men that they passed away, right? And I've watched things just crumble. Yeah. Everything was on their back, right? And again, men get a lot of scrutiny, they get a lot of pushback, but a good man is trying to do the best for his family all the time. Who does he go to? It's like you said, who does he go to, right? And so I'm like, man, how do people deal with this, right? Because it's the stress of family, the stress of finance, the stress of, of life.